Good morning, students. Let us continue with our introduction to MATLAB. This is the third video of the series. Now I will shift the window. So in MATLAB, based on the version that you have, the view of the MATLAB editor will differ. Now for this particular course, I am considering the version which is given in the course. Now here you can see that there is something called as a live editor. In the earlier demonstration, we have entered individual commands and then we have executed them, right? Instead of entering individual commands, you can use the live editor to enter a series of commands and then run them together so as to get some useful output. For example, you may be wanting to find out the area of a circle, so which will require to find out the get the radius and then apply the formula for the area and then get the answer. Similarly, suppose you want to calculate kinetic energy or potential energy, so you'll need to write 2-3 lines of codes, and all these 3 lines together will make some meaning. So for such cases, you can use the live editor in MATLAB, and in that live editor you can create a new live script. Okay, so this is the example of a live script. So in your editor, here that window is not visible, but if you go in your editor, there is a new option. If you click on new and new live script, you will get this kind of a script, right? Let us now try to do something with this live script. Okay, so the task is enter the command r equal to 3 in the script. So I will do that, r equal to 3, right? And I'll just press enter. Okay, and now since I have done that, I need to submit. So I'll just submit. So it will tell me okay, it is done. Okay, so it says okay, correct. Does r exist and does r have the correct value? So for checking that, I will go to workspace. Okay, and you see the r is existing here in the workspace. It has a value of 3, right? Then we can go to the next task. It is asking us add the command x equal to pi star r raised to power 2 to the script. So I will write x equal to pi star r raised to power 2. All right. Now what is this doing is, instead of writing r equal to 3 then pressing enter, then again writing x equal to pi r square and again pressing enter, I am writing both the commands and then I am submitting this. So at a time I am running 2 commands together. This is the use of the live editor. This will give me the area of the circle with a radius 3. All right, so let us check it. Great. So we have got our script running. You see the results here, r equal to 3 and x is this. If I go to workspace, I can see both the variables r and x, right? So what is happening, that inside this area, whatever I am typing is getting executed together. So this is the use of the live editor, and the advantage is instead of writing one by one command, you can write the commands together. Okay, and we have already seen the command window, and yes, we have already seen the workspace, and you can also see the workspace and the command window if you want to see, right? It is asking us to try viewing the variables x and r in the workspace. So we have already seen this, right? So this kind of a view you can this kind of a interface you can see in the MATLAB and utilize it for writing small programs and then visualizing them. In fact, you can also share this program with other MATLAB users so that you can communicate your idea in a clear way. Let us move ahead with the next section now. Next section is about running the scripts. Now remember one thing, we have just now seen the live script, but if you are writing a bigger program, then you will have to write even bigger code, right? So that will require you to write many lines of code. All right, so let us try to see some of those. So there are this This live script contains the formatted text code and section breaks. In this course, scripts will include task headers to show where you should enter your code. Okay, and we can test our code before submitting by running the script. To execute the entire script, we can click the run button. Okay, so first task is run the script to populate the output pane. Then modify the command for task 1 so that R has a value of 0.5. Alright, so let us run this R equal to 3. I'll simply click on this run button. Okay, so it is run, already it is run. And then modify the command for task 1 so that R has a value of 0.5. So let us change this R equal to 0.5. And let us see what it is expecting us to do. Good. So it's all right. Our R value is 0.5. It is updated here. Also X value is updated. It has become 0.7854. Right. So this task is correct. Let us go to the next task. Now to execute the code for just one section, you can click the run section button in the MATLAB tools tray. Try changing the value of R and running only that section. What happens to the value of R in the output pane? What about the value of X? So this is one section, this is another section. So let me click on this section R equal to 0.5. Let me change this value to 2. Okay, and I will run this section only. I will try to run this section. Okay, so when I use this run button, bigger run button, it is running all the sections. That means if I change the value of R, then X value is also changing. But if I want to run only this section, let me make this R as 0.5. Now if I run this only this section, then value of R should become 0.5 and value of X should not change. So I can click on this run section. So if I do run section, okay, so I'll click here in the section and now I will say run section. Okay, so what will happen? R is modified to 0.5. You can see this R is modified to 0.5, whereas X is not yet modified. If I click in the other section and I say run section, okay, then you see X is also modified. So this way you can create many sections and you can add many sections and then also run them together, right? For example, if you want to add the text calculate circumference, add a new code block after the text that contains. So if I can add a new section break, so this will give me a new section. Then I can add text. So here is text. Okay, in text I'll say calculate circumference. Okay, I'll press enter and then I'll write the code. What is the code? Y is equal to 2 star pi star R. Okay, so Y is equal to, but for that I need to first of all come back to the code part. Okay, so I need to enter the code in this. Okay, so I'll have to click on the code. So now it will become a code part. I will write Y equal to 2 star pi star R and then I'll run this section. Okay, see, I got Y is equal to 3.1416, which is the circumference for the radius of 0.5. Right? So this way you can write your own scripts, and in that script you can add the text, add the code and run it. Okay, you can run individual sections or you can run all the sections together. I hope you have got the idea behind this. We'll go to the next section now. Now the next section is about manually entering the arrays. Now I told you earlier that everything in MATLAB is a matrix, or you can tell them, you can also say arrays. Okay, now what's an array? So all MATLAB variables are arrays. So it can be a column vector, it can be a row vector, it can be a scalar, or it can be a matrix, right? So scalar means a single value is a scalar. If it is a single row, it is called as a row vector. If it is a single column, it is called as a column vector, and if it is combination of these, it is called as a matrix, right? So a single number is called as a scalar. It is actually 1 by 1 array, meaning it has one row and one column. So let us create a variable named x with a value equal to 4. So if I write x equal to 4, okay, and I will submit this. So it takes some time to run, right? And it is saying correct. Now it is asking, is x assigned correctly? So I can check in the workspace. See, there is a name of variable as x and its value is 4. So this is correctly assigned, properly assigned. Second task, let us go to the next task. Now if I want to enter a row vector, okay, what is a row vector? A row vector is that there is a matrix with a single row, only one row, 2 columns, 3 columns, but only one row. So I want to create a matrix like this, okay. For example, x equal to, open the square bracket, write 3, give a space, then write 5, complete the square bracket and press enter. It will give me a matrix like this, x equal to 3, 5. Similarly, let us create an array named x with 2 elements 7 and 9. So I will have to write x equal to, open the square bracket, 7, sorry, it's taking some time, x equal to, open the square bracket, 7 space 9, right? Now this will create a row vector with value 7 space 9, okay. I'll just submit this. When I submit, it is automatically running the section. So you see, I got a variable x. Now this variable is a row vector which has one row, 2 columns, and it has 2 elements, 7 and 9. Okay, let's go to the next task. When you separate numbers by spaces or commas, MATLAB combines the numbers into a row vector. Okay, so if you give a space or if you give a comma, so instead of x equal to 7, 9, if I say x equal to 7, 9, this is the same. Okay, so I'll once again run this section. You see, x value will not change, it will remain the same. So either you can give a space or you can give a comma, it means the same thing. It is just a column separator. But if you want to add a new row, then you have to use a semicolon for that purpose. Okay, so if I write x equal to 1 semicolon 3, what it will do? It will create a column vector with 2 rows and 1 column. Okay, so in this task we are supposed to create 2 elements, okay, but a column vector. So I'll write x equal to 7, instead of comma now I will put semicolon 9, okay, and I will submit this. Let's see what happens. All right, so now I got 2 rows and 1 column. So this is a column vector. This is a column vector, right? Great. Okay, now the next task is create a row vector x that contains values 3, 10 and 5 in that order. Okay, so I need 3 values, but it is a row vector. So I'll simply write 3, I'll give a space, I'll write 10, I'll give a space. What is the third value I need? 5. I'll write 5. I will submit this. So this will create a simple scalar row vector with 3 values, 3, 10 and 5. Great. Let's go to the next task. Create a column vector which contains the values 8, 2 and -4 in that order. Okay, so this is for the next task, that is task 5. So how I will write for this? I'll write x equal to 8 semicolon 2 semicolon -4, right? So semicolon means there will be new rows which will be added. All right, I'll submit this. Wonderful. So I got 8, 2 and -4 and it is also correct, right? So now, by now you must have realized the use of semicolon and a comma or a space. Okay, so space or comma is used for new column and semicolon is used for adding a new row. Let us say that I want to have a matrix like this which has two rows and 3 columns. Okay, and I want to create a matrix like this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is our new task. So how we will do it? So this can be done it like this. See, x equal to, I'll open the bracket. First I will enter the first row, 5 space 6 space 7. Then I will put a semicolon and then I will enter the second row, 8 space 9 space 10. Let us see whether this is correct. Wonderful. So you got the correct answer here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I think you must have realized how this comma and semicolon are working. This is extremely important to understand because later on when you work with larger matrices and sometimes you want to add a small matrix, you should be knowing these conventions. Okay. Now final task. You can perform calculations also within the square bracket. So instead of writing the number, I can use some variable or do some calculations also, right? So the task is, for example, here x equal to abs minus 4 space 4 raised to power 2. So abs minus 4 stands for absolute value of minus 4 and 4 square is 16. Okay, so this will give me this answer. So our task is to create a row vector named x that contains square root of 10 as its first element and pi raised to power 2, that is pi square, as its second element. Okay, so no big deal, we can do it, right? So let us try this. So I will write x equal to, I'll open the square bracket, first element will be sqrt in bracket 10, then I'll give space and then I'll write pi raised to power 2. Okay, and I'll submit this. Let us check whether this works. Absolutely fine, this is working. Okay, because we wanted a row vector, we got it. So this is under root of 10, 3.1623, and this is pi square, which is 9.8696. Okay, so this is how you can manually enter the arrays. Let us go for the next task. Now this is a practice task. Arrays are used throughout MATLAB. In fact, MATLAB is an abbreviation for matrix laboratory. I told you this earlier. Okay, you'll find that most MATLAB functionality can work on multiple values at once. So there is some flexibility when you create arrays. For example, these are all valid ways. So you can write x equal to 7 space 9 or x equal to 7 comma 9, or you can write x equal to 7 comma space 9. These are all same thing, right? Try experimenting with white space, commas and semicolons and create this matrix. So our task is to create this matrix 7, 1, 8, 4, 5, 8, 10, 4, 2, which is a 3 by 3 matrix. So let us try this. I'll write x equal to, so the simplest way is to enter the one row first by giving the space. So I'll write 7 space 1 space 8, then give a semicolon, then write 4 space 5 space 8, then give a semicolon, then write 10 space 4 space 2. Okay, and let me run this section. Great, so we got the answer that we were looking for. Can it be done in a different way? Yes, it can be done. So let me try the different way. I'll write 7 comma 1 comma 8, then semicolon, then I'll write 4 comma 5 comma 8, then semicolon, then I'll write 10 comma 4 comma 2. Okay, let us check whether this works. So let us run this section again. Great, we got the same answer. Okay, so it is working. Is there any other way? Let us try the other few more ways of doing the same. So I can write 7 space 1 space 8, delete the bracket, I can press enter, I can write 4 5 8, I can press enter, I can write 10 4 2, I will complete the square bracket. Okay, and then let me try this, running the section again, whether this works. Great, it also works, right? So instead of doing giving semicolon, you can also press enter. Just ensure that the bracket is entered at the very last. This is just like writing on a board. Okay, so all these ways will work. Ultimately you have to enter this. You want a easier way? One more thing can work. Okay, it is not given in this exercise. I can simply open this variable editor in the workspace, double click on this, and I got these values. Okay, so I can edit them here as well. So let's say I want to make all these values 1 1 1. So I'll write 1 1 1 here everywhere. Okay, I'll write 1 1 1 everywhere. Now Now once I edit it in the this variable editor, if I simply type the variable name here, okay, I'll simply type the variable name, and I would like to check this whether it is updated or not. Okay, what I can do is I can write the variable name and I can run this section again. Okay, you got this, all values have become 1. So this is another crude way of changing the matrix, but this way should not be done because you never go and edit the workspace. You have to do it on your own by using semicolon or comma or enter, right? So this is another good way of entering the arrays. All right, so the next topic is creating evenly spaced vectors. Now what is this evenly spaced vectors? Many a times you will require vectors like 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? So now let us, they have asked us to create, let us do this simple task first. Create a row vector named x that contains the values 1, 2 and 3 in that order. So one way of doing this is this: x equal to 1 space 2 space 3. Okay, I'll submit this. When I submit this, I'll get the answer 1, 2, 3, and which is correct. Okay, there is another good way in MATLAB by which we can use the colon operator, these two dots. Okay, this is called as a colon operator, and this colon operator will do this job easy for us. Okay, so we have a long vector and we want to increment by a specific size. I can simply use this colon operator. So for example, if I write y is equal to 5 colon 8, it will create a vector with 4 values, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it will start from 5, it will end at 8, and by default it will increment by 1. By default it will increment by 1. Okay, so let us do the second task. We have to create a row vector named with values 1, 2, 3, 4, but using this colon operator. So what I'll write here is, I'll write x equal to 1 colon 4. Let's see what this does. So what it will do is, it will create a row vector with the first value as 1, last value as 4, and in between values incremented by 1. So it should give me 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us check this. I'll submit this. Okay, you see on right hand side 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So this is the colon operator. Okay, let us do the next task. Now we have seen that by default this increments by 1. So the initial value is 1, final value is 4. By default there is an increment of 1. You can specify the difference also. For example, in this case, x equal to 20 colon 2 colon 26. So what this will do, it will start at 20, it will end at 26, but the spacing will be of 2. So it will be 20, 22, 24, 26, right? So let us do this task. Create a row vector named x that starts at 1, ends at 5, and each element is separated by 0.5. So it's very simple. I'll write x equal to 1 colon 0.5 colon 5. What this will do, it will create a row vector which will start at 1, next value will be 1.5, next value will be 1.5 plus 0.5, that is 2, then 2.5 and so on up to 5. Okay, so it will start at 1, it will end at 5, but the difference will be of 0.5. Let us check this whether it is correct or not. Yes, it is correct. You see there are 9 elements, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and this will continue till 5. Okay, so this is how you can increment. Okay, there are other ways also to manage this. Let us do the task first. Now it is asking us to create a row vector named x that starts at 3 and ends at 13 with each element separated by 2. Oh, no problem. We'll say x equal to 3 colon 2 colon 13, because we want to start at 3, end at 13 and separate of 2. Okay, let's see the solution. So yes, we got the answer 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Right? So I hope you have got the idea of the colon operator and how you can specify the increments. Alright. Then if you know the number of elements that you want in a vector, instead of spacing, you can use the linspace function. For example, if you know that you want 5 elements and you know starting point and end point, then no need of specifying every time what should be the spacing. You can simply use the linspace function. It will do the spacing for you. For example, in this function x equal to linspace, you want first value 0, you want last value 1, and you want 5 elements. So what it will do, since first and last element are fixed, in between 3 elements are required, it will equally divide them 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, so that you get total 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so linspace will decide the spacing between each element for you. Instead of you specifying, it will decide on its own. So the question is, create a row vector named x that starts at 1, ends at 10 and contains 5 elements. So how it could be done? I'll simply write x equal to linspace, linspace, in bracket. What should be the first element which is required for us? 1. What is the last element? 10. How many elements I want? 5. So it will decide its own elements. It will divide the range 1 to 10 into 5 part, out of which first is 1, last is 10, in between it will decide on your own. Okay, so guess what it will be? Let us run and say this. Okay, so we got 1, 3.25, 5.5, 7.75 and 10. Correct? Why? Because we wanted 5 elements, so it has taken the difference of 2.25, right? So this is how linspace can be used. I hope you got the meaning of linspace. So this is useful when you want to divide a long range. Let's say you want to go from 1 to 1000, and you know that you want 15 different parts. So every time calculating what should be the difference, linspace will do it for you. You need not do it. Right? Both linspace and the colon operator create row vectors. You can also convert them to a column vector by using the transpose operator. So there are many more operators in MATLAB for matrix operations. We'll be coming to that later on, but this dash or transpose is the simplest of them. So if you write simple dash, it will transpose the vector for you. Okay, for example, you write x equal to 1 colon 3 and then write x equal to x transpose, it will give me like this. Okay, so transpose x from a row vector to a column vector using the transpose vector. So let us do this. X equal to 1 colon 3, then I'll write x equal to x transpose. Okay, I'll submit this. Okay, it wants 5 elements. Is it a column vector? Does x have correct values? Now since it is expecting us to do this earlier task once again, so let me once again run the earlier section. Okay, so it is simply expecting us to take the transpose of the earlier one. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply write this command, x equal to x dash. That's all. This is what all it is expecting. Right, so now it is saying correct. So what we have done is this value 1, 3.25, 5.5, 7.75, 10. Now we have converted into a column vector simply by using this dash. Okay, this dash is nothing but your transpose. So you can transpose any matrix by using this simple dash. Let's go to the next task. The next task is you can create column vectors in a single command by using the parenthesis. Okay, it's very simple and intuitive. For example, we want to create x that starts at 5, ends at 9 and spaced by 2, but we want a column vector. So I will write like this, x equal to, in parenthesis, 5 colon 2 colon 9, and I will write dash. Okay, so this will create the 579. Right, so we got this 579. So what I have done is I have included everything in the parenthesis and simply then given a dash, which is a transpose. Alright, so I hope that you got the use of the colon operator, the linspace function and the transpose. Okay, when we use the linspace or colon operator, remember we don't use the square brackets. Okay, if you wanted to create an evenly spaced vector from 1 to 2 pi with 100 elements, would you use linspace or colon? What will you use? Naturally, you should use the linspace. Why? Because why you will calculate the space. Okay, so what we can do is I can write x equal to the linspace function, linspace in bracket 1 comma 2 pi. 2 pi will be 2 star pi. All right, comma, how many elements I want? 100 elements, right? So I'll simply, I can run this. Now it will give me so many elements. You won't be able to see all the elements, but you will understand the idea. We got 100 elements, right? So it is very simple for us to create 100 elements between the range 1 to 2 pi without even knowing what should be the space. So we should use linspace in such a, right? I hope you have got the idea of all these operators, specifically the colon operator. It is very important. Remember, colon operator can be used for many more purposes, which we'll be seeing in the further interactions and the further videos. For now, today we will stop here. Thank you for your listening, and do revise till this point. Thank you so much.